Hi, I'm Joe. Welcome back to the Ultimate Love Letter, and thank you for joining the conversation. We have officially made it to Bali, our home for a while. And I just want to thank everyone who has just followed our summer journey through Europe. I tried to post in every location with the exception of India because I was only there a short amount of time. But we are officially in Indonesia, in my favorite place in the world. And the reason why I find it so special is, well, for one, the people are the salt of the earth. Balinese have such a big heart. There is no crime. If you speak to anyone who is born here, they say they have not even seen crime. And those who have said it was many, decades ago in their lifetime. Policemen have the easiest job, and that it's the villages that take care of anyone who even considers crime. But really, what I love and what is just a testament to this beautiful culture is that the Balinese rise at like 4 a.m. and they're spending time in solitude with their ancestors. And they take very much pride in that time spent, that investment made. And so it's just everything to revere. And, being here, I'm reminded, I've only been here twice, and I absolutely fell in love with it the first time, which is why we decided to come and just have an extended stay this time. But I forgot the sweet smell of the island. It almost smells like sweet rice and like lotus flowers. Like, it's just a beautiful aroma that is so welcoming, like it penetrates to my soul. Immediately when I stepped outside, on day one, the smell just brought me back, and I knew exactly where I was. And I'm excited to be creating in such a tranquil, serene place. And so this will be, if you're watching us on YouTube or Spotify, this backdrop will be our backdrop for the foreseeable future. I'm going to see if I can try to, get out by the pool at some point, but for the best sound, I am recording from my villa. But again, I just want to thank you to everyone who just followed us through our crazy journey through Europe and on to Asia. I was inspired by this trip to talk about magic. Like, do you believe in magic? I have seen magic deeply over the past 4 weeks, just on my travels. Let's just talk about like yesterday. So I went out for dinner and a little shopping, and I parked my motorbike, someplace on the side of the road. I just knew I would be able to find it. And for those of you who have been to Bali, you understand, there's hundreds, if not thousands of scooters all over the place. Like, that is the primary way that everyone is commuting. And, I parked it during the day. But as I said, after, a little food, a little shopping, night fell. And I couldn't remember where my bike was. But I've seen this before, right? Like, I know God is with me. I know God is guiding me. And I know God, in the moment of what seems to be chaotic, or I'm lost, or I'm concerned, I know that He is just setting me up to reveal Himself in that moment. And so as I was walking up and down the street, looking for my motorbike, I finally just reached out to God. It was getting later, it was getting darker, and I just said, God, thank you for allowing me to find my bike. And I'm not kidding. within like a minute, I looked up and I saw a single flower on the seat of a scooter. And wouldn't you know it, that was my scooter. And when I looked up at the tree that it was under, it was no flower tree. There was no flowers in sight. It was a simple, beautiful, it looked like a Hawaiian flower just placed so delicately on my seat. And I know it was from no one but God. And it was for not only for me to see it, for it to be highlighted for me, but it was almost like just a showing of who I am, this delicate flower from the Most High for my precious daughter. That's what I felt when I laid eyes on it. And God has been showing up just like that this entire trip. You know, if you've tuned in the previous episodes, you've heard me talk about, getting lost on the canals and a boat that we rented and how the map flew out of our hand and we didn't know how to get back. We didn't know which way to go or which way we came, but yet we knew who to turn to, and it was God, and it was our intuition that God was using to guide us. And of course, all was well. All has been well the entire time. I've been here now, I think this is my third day, and I have cried tears of joy every single day. When I felt like I was being led to Bali and to, lay off of work and stop working with the clients and just really embrace this time of just me and God, and to really just put all my focus and attention on all that He is asking me to create, which is this podcast. I'm ready to take it to a whole nother level. And I know I needed time away to be able to do that. I'm writing a book that will be available on Amazon. I intend to finish it before I leave here. And so all that I am creating, God has just served the most beautiful backdrop, the most beautiful place for me to create, for Him to serve me so that I can serve you. As I said, when I was contemplating on coming here, I had read different blogs from expats who had moved to Bali, and what I heard was a trend. They were saying, we recommend you don't book your entire stay in one place. Maybe when you arrive, book a place for 3 days and then fill it out, see if you like it. And then if you don't, it's easy for you to change to another place, because what you often don't realize is that when you come to Bali, there's a lot of construction. I mean, tourism is exploding. There's always new structures going up. So you're usually surrounded by a lot of construction, which that wouldn't have been great, while trying to put out a podcast. And also you may not understand like the area. Maybe the area is not exactly what you want. And for me particularly, I am super, super concerned with cleanliness. And my friends who I've traveled with who are listening to this, you know what I'm talking about. Like, I am the woman that checks into a hotel, and if it is not cleaned to the utmost standard, I am immediately checking out. Like, I don't care. I'd rather sleep out by the pool. I'm not going to be in a place that's not clean. And, that just comes from trauma from, my past career and working in hotels. Like, I've seen all the things that go down in hotel rooms, and it has ruined me. So now I need to be able to, in order for me to relax, that room has got to be clean to a certain standard. And I usually vet hotels based on reviews. I go, a 9 and up in cleanliness, but oftentimes I'll find that it's it's not what may have been projected. And so I'm quick to check out. And so I found this villa. God led me to this villa, and it was pretty quick when I found it. I knew exactly where I wanted to be. I knew in my mind what I wanted it to look like. I knew I wanted it to be authentic, and I wanted it to be rustic, and I wanted it to be very much Balinese culture and filled with plants and flowers and trees and nature. And I must have a pool. And I found all that in one space. I found it immediately on an expat Facebooking group. And even though I was trying to, kind of haggle with the owners, and I was letting them know, please let me just come for, 3 or 4 days. Let me check it out. If I love it, then I'll book. And you know what I love is that they remain steadfast. They were like, no, we cannot book it out like that in the middle of the month. We need a renter that can commit to a month. And even though I knew I wanted to stay at least a month, I was just listening to the blogs like, hey, don't do this. Don't risk it. Book for only 3 days. But when I saw the pictures and they sent me videos of the villa, and I told them, turn on the sound so I can hear what's going on in the background. And all I could hear in the background in their videos, and I'm sitting in LA, was I could hear birds chirping in the background. I can hear the wind, the breeze, the sounds of the wind blowing. And it was as if God was telling me, this is your home. Jump out in faith. And with that said, I booked it for the month. Sent my money, and was like, God, you got me. Here's the interesting thing. As I said, I am one that checks in and checks out because of cleanliness. I have never taken a trip where I haven't at least checked out of a hotel one time. Never. And this trip was so layered that we checked in and checked out of 8 hotels in 5 or 6 different countries. And each hotel that we stayed in was absolutely beautiful, absolutely clean. We felt comfortable. We felt like we were at home. You know what's funny is that maybe a few weeks before we started our travels, I had been asking God, God, make me comfortable. I'm about to embark on a big trip. I'm going to have equipment with me. I need to make sure that these accommodations are up to our standards. I need to be clean. I need to feel like they're clean. Change me, God. Just change my eyesight if that needs to happen. It wasn't long after that where I had a dream. It was quite interesting, and I was kind of appalled. But I had a dream that I was showering in what looked to be like a communal location that was like serving breakfast, like that was serving like the homeless community. And I remember the shower being completely cream colored and all tile. And I remember that if it was me back then, I would be grossed out by this shower and this accommodation, this space that I was in. I wasn't even in a hotel. It looked like it was a shower with a restaurant. I don't understand what it was. But I remember the sense of being so clean and so grateful for the space that I was in. And when I woke up that morning, I shared my dream with Aaron. And Aaron, not knowing that what I had prayed for on God, make my homes comfortable, my homes abroad as I'm traveling, make me at ease. But as soon as I told him that dream, he immediately said, I feel that's an omen to what's to come. I feel that the public space that you're seeing in your dream is that of hotels that we're going to be in. And I feel like you're going to be comfortable. And oh my goodness, was he right? God had shown me in my dream my comfort level, how he was about to bless us with beautiful, restful accommodations. And I'm not kidding when I say out of the 8 hotels, at least 6 of them looked almost exactly in color to those that I had in my dream. Like, it's kind of crazy. Like, our very first shower looked exactly like what I saw it in my dream. So did the second and third. Then, the fourth looked a little different. The fifth and sixth looked similar. It was insane. Like the same cream shower that I saw in my dream several weeks before I embarked on this journey was the same showers that I saw in multiple locations of where we stayed. And I was completely like 10 out of 10 comfortable in every spot. And those who know me, my friends I'm speaking of, know that that's not me. And so when I took a risk to check into a villa, to rent this villa without seeing it for a month, only to find that it is without question everything but more than what I asked for. You see, that's what God does. When we are going and moving in the direction God leads, He will bless us beyond what we're asking for. Some of my favorite things, I'll just tell you, is an outside shower. I know I'm getting off on showers, but it's important, right? Like, I shower several times a day. I love showering. And so it's important to me. But one of my favorite things is an outside, like, rocky shower. And I have that in the villa. I love wood and wood beams. And if you're watching this video, you can see this villa is completely wooded and just authentic. I also love white shears, particularly hanging from the beds. I have them in my home in LA, and now I have them here in Bali too. And just vintage armoires and dressers and mirrors, and it's filled with yoga mats and beautiful art. And I'm looking around to see what else does it have. It's filled with beautiful fruit that they had waiting for me. And the outside of my villa was just the flowers and the trees and the candles and the rocks and nature. Like, there's a frog right now sleeping on my patio. There was a furry little caterpillar thing that came into the shower with me last night. Like, I love it all. I love it all. And I just want to thank God, because I took a risk, but I felt that He was saying it was okay to do so. And it turned out swimmingly well. That is the magic that we live in when we are trusting and following God. I am traveling alone. My beautiful sweetheart has gone back to the U.S. And, he is, I've been traveling solo for 18 years or since I was 18 rather. And I did have a few years there where I traveled with like girlfriends, and it's always a hassle, right? Trying to figure out what to eat and when to eat and what to do and what not to do and when to sleep in. And I've given it up, mainly because God actually asked me to give it up. I was getting ready for a trip to Spain, I'll never forget. And me and a girlfriend were supposed to go together, and God woke me up and said, "You book the trip, you book it now, you book it by yourself." And I did that, and it changed my life. God wanted to get me alone, and He wanted to show me something. And the only person who has ever come that enhances my travels is my beautiful sweetheart, Erin. And at the end of every trip that we're on together, it always is. We do the same thing every time. He'll go back and I'll go off to another place for like a few days, a week or so. But this is the longest time that he and I will be separated, the longest time. But I felt that God was saying, it's time to come be with me. Like, we have work to do. I'm about to cry. We have work to do. And I remember when I was saying goodbye to Erin, he just enhances everything. He carries all my luggage. I haven't carried a thing but my cell phone for the last month. But as I was saying goodbye to him, I just told him, I said, I feel like it's time for me to be with God. And he totally is all on board. He's like, babe, you go. You're going to have a profound month. I'm going back home. I'm working on all things our brand. And when I got to Bali and I opened up my first devotional, would you know, the very first devotional I read here, the first sentence says, it is time for you to be with me. Boy, if y'all don't believe in magic, those who don't believe in magic will never find it. Magic is real. Magic comes from God. Magic comes from living aligned with your source. Magic comes from trusting with everything in you that God, that the universe is serving you in every moment, that everything is conspiring for you, not to hurt you, but for your benefit, even when it looks shady, because yes, it will look shady, but when it looks shady, it's only meant to shake things up, to get you in a better alignment. So again, it's only serving your highest purpose. I feel like on this trip, I've been saturated in glitter, gold, and magic. But I don't want to be the only one feeling this. I need you to come with me too. Please, if God is leading you someplace, if God is speaking to you right now, or if you can't hear him, create a sacred, quiet place for you to hear God speak. Test it out. Ask a question and then intend for the answer. And as you get these answers, move accordingly. God's got you. God wants to guide you. God wants to bless you with bliss, peace, magic. He is the most devoted partner, period. Thank you so much for joining our very first conversation in our new home in Indonesia. Magic, let it in. I have released an ebook, 3 Simple Steps to Manifesting, and it is available on our Instagram and our blog site. I'll have all the details there. And I don't want to sound like creating your life is just 1, 2, and 3. The truth is, there is 3 steps. However, as you take those 3 steps, life comes in and it wants to knock you off, right? That is where the real point comes in, where we either stand firm in our faith or we go back in fear. Because of that, I am gifting with the free book a free 15-minute one-on-one conversation with me so that I can help guide you and support you and encourage you to move forward. Don't go backwards. Nothing back there serves you. Onward. So take advantage of that. It is for a limited time, but I'm here to serve. How can I be of service to you? Until next time, love yourself and love others. We'll chat again soon. Bye for now.